Hi, my name's Jordan. I'm going into third year at London Contemporary Dance School.
Hello, I'm Dulcie and I graduated from London Contemporary Dance School in July 2019.
So I see the future of contemporary dance for me as more accessible through technology, so like video and film. So to think of some like DV8, Hofesh with clowns, Damien Gillette with his new Netflix thing. And I just think it makes it more accessible and less of a platform that people perceive as being, you know, like bourgeois and not for the people.
Interesting. Yeah. I wonder if the accessibility of it being digital transfers to people going to the theatre to see dance.
Yeah.
I don't know if the accessibility of it is great in itself because you can see it in your home, or that also means that it feels less of a bourgeois thing to go to the theatre to see contemporary dance. Yeah. I think I have this utopian vision of what the future of contemporary dance is, and it's this change-making platform that's completely non-hierarchical in any sense, but I'm not sure if that is where we're currently heading. I think there's a lot of complacency within traditions that we have in contemporary dance with racism and ableism, sexism are so rife, and I can see the complacency in that in programming and in the way that we are with each other in the studio, and I wonder how it is that we can promote
changing that
change. Exactly.
I think maybe through subject matter of pieces, which is something that a lot of people here at the place do, and I think that just makes people a lot more aware and how they can put that into their practice and make sure they're not falling into the same things that have been done previously. Yeah.
I think LCDS is a great place to...
A very good place. A very good place.
No, but it is a good place for, you are encouraged to make work that, challenges things.
Very, from the get-go,
Exactly, and you can fail. I've done it and I've failed dramatically, and then it's fine, and you do it again and you try.
But you're encouraged and you get, so much, tutorage on how you can approach it if you have failed, what you can do, not to just shun it completely aside, but to learn from that and move on, move forward. Maybe
how we change in the future is in our dance training,
early on,
universally. It's we say there is no complacency with work that is racist and sexist and ableist and homophobic and transphobic. I feel I have failed in a dance piece if I'm trying to make change or provoke thought and that's not evident for the audience. And I think when it's not engaging and evident for the audience, and that for me is
it hasn't come across, and you don't feel what you've set out to do has been read.
Because contemporary dance isn't for me as a choreographer to look at my work and be God, that was good.
I've got my message.
So I know what I was saying, because then I could just sit in my house and think the things and then agree with myself. But I think it's about what the audience feels, thinks.
Response, reacts.
Which I don't know. That's a risky thing to say.
What, response?
Really? No, not response, but to be it's all about what the audience thinks, because then we
makes it commoditative a bit. But also it depends on whether the audience takes it in a way where they're just oh, I enjoyed this. That was good. Or if they actually learn and like process what they've seen. Yeah, no, I think it's not just the content of what's been made, it's also like the choices that choreographers and dancers make.
Like the whole practice around dance, which is like how dancers are treated and how dance is talked about and how institutions are run and how venues are run, because just like the actual like dancing on the stage, which can be like complacent with traditions, I think so too can the practices around it.
Yeah, I think the dancing on the stage is like quite a small part of it for me. Like obviously it's like the big crescendo moment where everything comes together and everything is seen, but I think like the biggest part is the training and the process and meeting people and just like having quite a good time.
And in training, let's like talk about the fact that programming only like cis white men is not acceptable in 2019. Like we need to talk about those things. Let's hear. I don't like saying let's hear other voices because it insinuates that people like don't have a voice, and obviously we have a like people have a voice, it's just we're not listening to them.
No, it's like there's so many places. Well, I think now that it's getting better, but then there's also places that are still just behind and not catching up at all. And also it may be better, it's not good enough. No, exactly. There's still complacency.
Never good enough for me. I feel like a way to get to this utopian contemporary dance world we see that's digital and feminist and great is, I feel like there's a disparity in funding at the moment in contemporary dance. I think a lot of funding is funneled into very old dance companies that have been established for a while and maybe are not.
They don't really need the money either, I would say, as much.
I mean, they're not really seeking like to question themselves and seek change. And so I wonder how funding can be dispersed in a way where we've not got a culture where we have like a kind of creme de la creme of like companies that get a lot of money and then a lot of people who have to work in kind of a freelance project based way, kind of like scrabbling around for bits of money, and there's such
surviving.
A disparity. In a world where there's a big gap between rich and poor, I don't think the arts needs to
especially contemporary dance. It's something that I hadn't really thought about too much, but it's like it's so apparent, and even with like venues as well. I know there's a massive like disparity between quite a few venues for the contemporary dance. But the cuts that are just being made to contemporary dance in general, I'm gonna it's just ludicrous. It just cuts it off to X amount of people that otherwise would just never get the chance to even try.
Exactly. And then we get a thing where the companies that are funded the most and kind of inherently are complacent in like the oppression that exists in contemporary dance, then those are programmed at dance theatres that like people would know about, and so like we get like people going to see those companies as opposed to the funding going into stuff that's maybe more about change and about
the contemporary utopia
what we need.
that you envision.
The contemporary utopia, but it's kind of almost inaccessible because there's no funding for it, and so it becomes a bit of a world that only some people know about, and so we're trying to like talk about the world, and yet the world can't see it because no one's funding it.
All they're seeing is the silver lining bits and not the bits that actually address all they're seeing is the creme. It's just the creme. The dealer is at the bottom, and
I'm mad about it.
Because these are the things that are saying things about actual change and actually promoting something healthy, I would say. And dance is very commoditive. It's like gone from something that was personal and tribal and ritual, and it's now something that can be bought or exchanged, like a show, for example. However, I think that's just kind of the way it is at the moment, and it's not necessarily a problem, but I think for aesthetic dance that people still enjoy as entertainment, for me personally, it's not what I enjoy making or thinking about. So like I enjoy like music more than anything, and like underground scenes and how their like dance like culture is, and trying to find a way to introduce it maybe into contemporary dance. So I did the piece about hardcore and gabba, and it's just very erratic and not at all like shape and linear and anything like that.
I feel conflicted about it though, because I think like people want to be entertained.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And they want to go and like, you spent 15 quid on a ticket, like you want to have a good time.
You're going to tell your friends. Yeah. Take some Instagrams.
And yeah, I feel like that's, you pay your 15 quid to go and see like very aesthetic, beautiful dance people performing things very well, and you think, oh, that's very good, good job, and then I'll go home. And I wonder, like I think I've seen lots of dance that's like both entertaining and like questions things and makes me like feel things and think things that I wouldn't necessarily have done before.
£15 well spent.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Ben Duke's Romeo and Juliet, not that, Juliet and Romeo, was like great, I thought, because like it made you feel things and think things about the world and the way that you operate with other people, and yet I wasn't there like looking at a body that like is maybe ill and is like not happy, and then looking at some kind of like sexist hierarchy being replicated again, which I think we can do when we're like going to see things for aesthetics and entertainment. So I hope for like a future where like things are entertaining and we want to go and see them,
but also have the latter side. And then there's also value to things being like challenging and horrible to watch. But like, I don't know, like my parents' friends don't want to go and see like go out and be challenged. So I wonder how we can like engage, like bring people into
being challenged.
I think Dead Club had a really good mix of the two. I don't know if you saw that. It was amazing. That had like an amazing mix of the two, where it was very challenging, but there was also like moments where it had aesthetic dance happening.
Right.
And I would recommend that to anyone. And I tried to bring my friends along to the second night as well.
Really?
But they didn't come. So yeah, that's it. I loved it.
No, I feel like there is hope though. I feel like so many great people are like focusing on the right things and like pushing for the right things, programming the right things, and like subcultures are emerging and becoming cultures, and like really amazing things are happening in dance, which is great. It's just how to make them, you know, a larger part of the contemporary dance world.